In this video, I'm going to show you the subconscious energy around choosing yourself. What does it actually mean to choose yourself? And how you can energetically go about healing any form of abandonment wound. The first thing to understand about this is that there's a paradox here when it comes to choosing yourself. Now, first off, what does that even mean? People hear that all the time, right? They're like, you need to choose yourself. Choose yourself and everything will be okay. I was like, what does that mean? How do I choose myself? I don't get it. There's a paradox here. Choosing yourself is when you choose to be authentic. It's when you choose to be vulnerable, and you do it at the expense of not being attached to what other people say, think, or do. When you begin choosing you by being authentic and vulnerable, it will repel certain people from your life. And if certain people get triggered or activated when you start choosing you, it's because they have become conditionally connected to just the version of you that abandons yourself. It means they're benefiting from that. And what that means is that there are certain people that might only really resonate with the part of you that does abandon yourself. So choosing yourself then, what this really means at a deeper level, is that there's a paradox here too. If you were to choose yourself in friendships or relationships, one of the powerful components of this is you have to be okay whether people choose you or not. You have to be and understand that either way is okay, because then you really give people the opportunity to choose you. Do you see this? Look what's happening with this situation. If you demand that other people choose you, there's this resistance that's created, and a demand, which doesn't mean they're actually choosing you because you're trying to control them to choose you. Do you guys see this? But when you cannot allow someone to choose you unless there is also the opportunity that they don't choose you. So when you can become good either way, that's when you're in your power. Now, the good either way, let's look at that for a second. When it comes to choosing yourself, because you choose to be vulnerable and authentic, not attached to what people think, knowing that what people think you don't have to internalize, a powerful part of this is understanding that even if somebody doesn't choose you, it's not because you're not good enough or you're not worthy. That's an internalization. That's where you've made someone else's choice or decision to mean something about you. Does this make sense? Is this resonating with you? This is the paradox. The only reason you want people to choose you is because you're not choosing yourself. And which is, okay, let's clarify that again. To choose yourself means to be authentic and vulnerable in expressing yourself, not attached to what they say or do, knowing you're being that version of you because it's who you choose to be. And when you're being that version of you, guess what ends up happening? You start to like you. And when you like you, other people can reflect back to you liking you. When you choose you, other people can then reflect that energy back because you are choosing you. And isn't it magnetic if you perceive of an energy where somebody is like okay with whether you like them or not? They're like, okay, it's a litmus test in a way to find people that actually resonate with you. But remember, you have to give them the opportunity to either choose you or not choose you. You can't just demand on one because then that's manipulation. Here's a fun thought experiment around choosing yourself. What if we lived in a reality where it was cool to not be chosen by other people? What if we lived in a reality where to be chosen by other people was kind of mid? Right? Part of it is probably evolutionary psychology. We want to feel chosen, want to feel connected. That's another aspect of it. But it kind of starts to flip it on its head when you begin to not resist the thing that you're afraid of. Do you guys see this? We're touching this understanding of choosing yourself, which is the most magnetic thing you can do. And choosing yourself, as we've just talked about, means to be authentic, to be vulnerable, and to not be attached to what people say and think about that. Because when you are choosing to be the real you, and you're being authentic, whether people resonate with that or not, isn't something you're attached to because you like you. And when you like you, other people can reflect back liking you. When you choose you, other people can choose you. Does that make sense? Does this resonate? If you have questions about choosing yourself and what we're talking about here, put it in the Q&A box. I'll be answering them. This video is going to go out on YouTube as well. So it's like whatever questions you have, I'm doing a deep dive into this whole concept of choosing yourself. So if you have a question about it, put it in there. Someone says, I feel like you're talking in circles. So I'm trying to hit this from different angles. And a lot of times repetition is the key to really understanding a concept. And also, I can choose myself in this situation and not internalize the comment and be like, am I talking in circles? Is what I'm saying landing? Do you guys like me? I can let that be a little bit of a reflection that what we can all do is recognize that also anytime we see something, especially in comments, because it's very stimulating doing lives like this because there are so many comments coming through. But one thing I've learned through just years of doing it is almost being neutral, good either way. Good whether this message is resonating or good whether it's not. I choose myself and what I want to talk about, and if I want to talk who says talking in circles is a bad thing? Maybe there's an expectation that I don't talk in circles. But that expectation, where is it? It's in you, right? It's in you, in your interpretation of it. And I'm saying this, by the way, from a perspective of awareness of looking at the layers there and also looking at my internal process as I even see comments like that. I can choose myself and choose how I interpret that. But it's also a lesson on choosing yourself and choosing what you deem of interpret as good or bad. Does that make sense? I like to use anything I see in these comments as leverage for the lesson, Okay, so if there's other questions you have about choosing yourself, we'll go into these different threads. So let's see. Some of these questions are worded weird. Okay. Let's see. So if you have questions, go ahead and put it in. Yeah, somebody asked, do you still use reality transurfing? So reality transurfing is a book. There's an idea of choosing yourself. I think that even comes from the idea of that book, which it's a Russian book. It's a book that was written in Russian that was translated into English, and it has to do with quantum physics and understanding. Basically, the way I view it is understanding energy dynamics and balance in reality. The idea is that there's an infinite number of variations of reality that exists. And when you put anything on a pedestal, you create resistance. You create an energetic block and barrier to that thing. So what it recommends is decreasing the level of importance you give things. Now imagine if you're trying to get other people to choose you, you're putting their authority and their energy on a pedestal, and you're recreating a dynamic where you're trying to prove yourself. You're trying to win back that energy. Which of course, then you've infused resistance into the process to where they can't actually even choose you because there's resistance to even being chosen because there's expectation or control there. So remember, that's why the saying, "I'm good either way," can be so powerful. It reduces resistance. Does that make sense? It reduces importance. It decreases the level of importance. So yes, I think there's certain concepts from that book that do relate. Another question is, how do you choose yourself without being rude? Well, first off, sometimes people that are afraid to be rude interpret authenticity with rude. But what they might be used to is pandering or fawning or being nice. I would say that to be rude and to be nice are equally toxic traits. Now, here's what I mean. To be rude may have an intention of like an aggressive energy that might be offensive. There are times where even to be rude might be intentionally, it might even just come off rude, but there's a certain energy underneath the surface that is there that comes off that way. What is rude also sometimes subjective or objective? Because sometimes what some people say is that person's rude, when sometimes that person might just be authentic. They might just like be expressing a boundary. Some people think it's rude to set boundaries. Is it rude to set boundaries? Now, to be nice is also a toxic trait because to be nice means to be manipulative. To be kind is different. To be kind is not attached to outcome. To be kind is to do something with no expectation. But when we say someone is nice, it's somebody that normally has a lot of pent-up aggression and anger and doesn't feel like they're able to actually express themselves. So they're not choosing themselves at all. They're actually choosing to pander. They're choosing the pattern. They're choosing easing tension, responsibility. They're choosing to be responsible for everyone else's emotions and energies. Guess what happens there? It's inauthentic. You're not choosing yourself. And many times people that are nice in a manipulative way aren't very respected because it's not authentic. They're trying to ease the tension. They're taking responsibility for everyone else's emotions, and then they're moving their center of gravity for others, which doesn't feel safe. Something to realize is that around people that are authentic and tell you how they really feel, that allows you to feel safe around them. When you are actually expressing vulnerably and authentically how you really feel, you allow other people to feel safe around you. Because you're being authentic. And when people know where they stand with you, that is a very attractive energy. There are times that energy might come off as a little bit more. It might cause tension in other people because you're being real and authentic. But that's okay. To set boundaries doesn't make you rude. To be authentic and actually express you and to be vulnerable, it's not your responsibility to fix it in other people. Does this make sense? So understand that when we're talking about choosing ourselves, a huge part of this is being honest with the subconscious patterns that are under the surface where you are not actually choosing yourself. And if you are being nice, which is different than being kind, there's an expectation of an outcome. And if there's an expectation of an outcome, there's a form of subconscious manipulative energy. And if there's an energy of subconscious manipulative energy, then what ends up happening is there's an expectation, and what you end up doing is you are signaling a disconnect from congruent. It's not congruent. How can people feel safe around you when you're tuning to each individual person in a different way and you are abandoning yourself? Do you see? This is why it is so powerful for you to start leaning into tension and leaning into authenticity. Choosing yourself is when you begin that process. And it will feel scary at first when you set boundaries with someone you've never set boundaries with. And if things come up for them when you set boundaries, it may be because they are used to the part of you that abandons yourself, the part of you that's just very easy to deal with, the part of you that feels responsible for their emotions. Does that make sense? So what you can do, so if you do lose people, it might be that being authentic and vulnerable is the perfect litmus test to see who in your life do you resonate with at a deep level, and who in your life maybe has only resonated with the part of yourself that abandons yourself, that feels responsible for them, that caters to their energy, where you try to even fix. Let's hit this from another angle. We got angles here, okay? You ready for another angle? Fixing. If you are trying to fix other people, are you choosing yourself? You're not even choosing them. You're choosing the potential of them. You're choosing what you can turn them into. You're choosing the payoff that you get from them. You're choosing validation and approval. Just saying. So choosing yourself. One of the most magnetic things you can begin to do is to actually choose yourself. You could take this a step further too. The most magnetic thing that you can do is not only to just choose yourself, but it's also to choose something greater than you. You can call that God. You can call that the divine. But in order to do that, you have to let go of these subconscious patterns that are cooked in survival. They're cooked. Cooked in survival. Which is interesting, because when you think of choosing yourself and you think of the ego, which is a part of the little self, the ego just wants to survive. That's it. That's why the ego has these mechanisms, right? The mechanism is controlling people, being nice, fixing other people. These are all ways of not choosing yourself that distract you from from choosing yourself. Yeah, they're pain from abandonment, exactly. But you're trying to survive. If I can control other people, I can survive. Well, guess what ends up happening? You end up abandoning yourself, taking responsibility for everyone else, and you end up feeling burdened. But that's all in survival mode. And that's where you make things really important and you put things on a pedestal, all of that energy stuff. So part of choosing yourself is choosing the vulnerability and authenticity, knowing it's who you choose to be, not what it gets you. Becoming aware of these patterns, the patterns of fixing, being nice, etc. So the first step is being aware of the pattern, but then also beginning to choose something greater than you to flow through. And this is where, when you are surrendered to the divine or God, you can trust, because you don't have to control from the ego perspective. Does this make sense? You know, it's interesting. I went and got a beard trim yesterday. And on this beard trim, I've gone to this guy like 2 or 3 times. And I'm just kind of getting to know him. And he I just go in, he shaves my beard. It takes like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And I'm getting to know him, and sometimes I've had a couple experiences in the past where I get like a beard trim, and one time I went into this beard trim place in whatchamacallit, Vegas, and I didn't know what it meant to shape a beard. So they said, "Do you want your beard shaped?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, that sounds awesome." And they shaped it, but when they shaped it, it was this style I did not like, and I didn't know what it meant. It was my fault. But what happened was that there was like a mini trauma from that experience where I was like, I didn't trust. I didn't trust because I didn't know. It could have been explained to me more. I mean, it was my fault for not knowing what it meant to shape a beard. It was like going to get my beard trimmed was like a new thing, right? But then what happened is I went in yesterday. It's my third time seeing this guy. And he started to do something where he did this part like really short. And I was like, I'd never seen that before. I could see quite a bit of like this. And in a moment, I was watching him. I was like, I kind of like flinched, like, what the heck are you doing? And he got like worried that he's like, is everything okay? And I was like, how short is that? You know? And basically, he's like, I just haven't lined it up yet, whatever. He ends up trimming the beard. And then afterwards, I'm like, actually, I love it. I love whatever he did here. And basically what he said to me is he's like, you just have to trust me. He's like, just trust me. I know what I'm doing. He said, what I do. And then I realized, I was like, yeah, I don't, first couple, I mean, when you're getting to know someone, you're learning whether you can trust them or not, I guess. But I was projecting into it like he was going to like mess up, you know, I told him not to shape it. Ever since that experience, I'm like, do not shape my beard. Whatever you do not shape it. I want it to be this way, blah, blah, blah. And basically what I realized though, the lesson from this is like, he's like, you need to trust me. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I do need to trust you. And he's an expert at what he does, and I keep going to him. So it's like, I think sometimes if that trust isn't there, it's like we'll be on edge. But if you just relax, it's like you can trust the divine. I guess I'm using this analogy for like the barber guy is like God, which in a way we all are maybe an aspect of that. So partially true on some level, if we're all one consciousness. So basically, so if you think about it, there may be a loss of trust with a parental figure if you're not choosing yourself. Maybe mom or dad were emotionally or physically unavailable somehow. They didn't meet your needs in a certain way. And then the game was started to be played. How do I get myself to be chosen? Then that game starts. And then you start playing it with other people. Choose me, choose me. And if you want other people to choose you, and then you're modifying your frame for them, what ends up happening is you're in survival mode. And if you're in survival mode, you're not thriving, you're just surviving. It's a mechanism. You develop these mechanisms that abandon you. And some of these mechanisms that abandon you include that of not setting boundaries, people-pleasing, trying to fix, which are also, by the ways, what are you resisting and what are you avoiding by people-pleasing? What are you avoiding by fixing other people? What are you avoiding? You might be avoiding your own stuff. You might be avoiding looking at yourself. This person gets to be a project. And if you've got a project, you don't have to look at your own stuff that comes up. So what are you avoiding? People-pleasing. What are you avoiding? Tension? Expressing the real you? You're avoiding your power? Unprocessed anger? And what if you gave permission for that part of you to express it, to feel it? Yeah, a rejection. But remember, can people really reject you? Can people really choose you? Really contemplate these. Because if you're trying to be chosen, what if it was cool to be rejected? What if to be rejected was another chance to choose you? What if rejection is, the traditional saying, what if rejection is redirection? You're not actually rejected. No, be with that rejection. If there is rejection, can you hold space for the part of you that feels rejected? And realize it doesn't have anything to mean with the core of who you are. It can just be an experience of processing emotion. think back in the day, to be rejected by the tribe or something, you literally would go out into the woods and you would have like no support and something bad, right? Something bad might happen. Yeah, you can only choose or reject yourself. And you can only agree, like, when it comes to rejection, you can let it be something that means something about the deeper part of you, or it can just mean that that's not your person. That's not your person. Just realize if that's that it's a litmus test. It's a litmus test. How you guys liking this live on choosing yourself? We're hitting it at different angles. We might be talking in circles. We're talking in circles. It's funny, I remember, you talk about like releasing energy in the moment. The most magical parts when I run live events are like when there's like this unknown energy of like what we're going to talk about, what comes up in the space. And a year or two ago, when I was first starting to do more live events, I was so afraid of that unknown energy. I was afraid I wasn't going to know what to say next. And ironically enough, the more that I've learned that it's okay not to know, and that if I forget talking about something, and I forget where I'm going with something, I could just change the subject at any time. It's only a problem if, in my mind, I put the expectation that I have to be a different way. So every time I choose myself, I'm choosing myself by being vulnerable and authentic and being in my own frame and knowing that the subconscious patterns of not choosing the self, like wanting to fix, any old people-pleasing mentalities, etc., those are all mechanisms for not choosing yourself. That's choosing to manage other people's emotions and energies. Now, the power comes when you begin to choose yourself and then you begin to choose God. You begin to choose the divine. Because remember that choosing the self thing, unconsciously, it's mainly just a survival mechanism. Who do I need to be accepted? Who do I need to be to ease your tension? Who do I need to be? Yeah, choosing yourself is a process of choosing. What can you choose? Here's another aspect of choosing yourself. We're talking in circles here, okay? Another aspect is choosing the inner child part of you that maybe you've been rejecting. Maybe there's an inner child part of you that wants to feel seen, heard, soothed, and nurtured, but feels abandoned and rejected. And then instead of holding space for that part of you, it's like, maybe I can get my needs met by doing it and getting it from other people. Because behind many people, like I think we project, here's a part of my philosophy on what we project out into the world based on inner child energy. We have a certain pattern between mother, father, child dynamic. And that energy of what that triad is gets projected out into the world. And the unprocessed parts of it also get projected out onto other people and even gets projected out onto other areas of life. Because growing up, I had like a theme of like things aren't fair. There's many areas of my life where it's either landlord situations, old jobs I used to have back in the day, that where it was like, things aren't fair. Projecting that energy out onto external reality. Not even just people, but like institutions. I remember even this place that I used to go in Costa Rica, and I would go to this place, and I remember one time I brought like 70 people to this place out of like 90 people. 70 of them were from my audience. And I remember I wanted to speak to everyone because what was happening is at this place, I was getting, like everyone was there because I recommended and like basically promoted it out. It was like a week-long transformation place. And I was having to have so many conversations with people because I just kept running into like people that recognized me from a channel because that's why they were there. And I was like, hey, can I talk to them? Can I talk to them just to like kind of ease and like set the frame so that I could just like go to lunch and not have like, you know, I can like kind of balance out the energy a little bit to give them some time and energy together. And I remember the place was like, no, we have a set curriculum. You can't do that. And from my perspective, I was like, this isn't fair. I had like a chip on my shoulder. I was like this, and probably a little bit of entitlement too, if I'm honest. I was like, this isn't fair. I brought in $300,000 of business to this place or whatever it was. I'm like, they should let me talk to them if I want so that I don't have to keep doing this. Keep having a whole bunch of conversations throughout the week. But it was like, this isn't fair. This isn't fair. Similar story. I was projecting it onto it. I ended up not going to that place again because there were some interesting things that happened. But there's different areas where, you know, so choosing yourself is, a lot of that too is just about becoming aware of those patterns, the subconscious patterns that are in survival mode, that are trying to keep you safe, and becoming aware of it, and then choosing yourself, but then choosing God as well. See, there's the light. It's coming through. How do you choose your rejected childhood self? By letting them know it's okay. Like imagine the rejected part of you. Imagine the rejected part of you coming to your front door. Imagine you are in your house, and this is your house, and then you have a front door, and it's like, knock, 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 knock. And you go open it up, and there's a rejected inner child self. It's like, where did mom go? Where did dad go? They feel rejected. And then imagine you're like, I don't want to feel you. I don't want to feel rejected. Go somewhere else. And you're like pointing, and you're like, go to that house over there. And they're like, okay, I guess you're rejecting me too. Just go in the garden over there and chill. I don't want to see you or feel you or like deal with you right now. I want to get rid of you, actually. I want to get rid of these emotions. But they're coming up to your front door to be felt. Now, how would you speak to that rejected inner child self? How would you do that? You just let them know it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to feel that. It's okay if mom or dad wasn't there for you in whatever way you needed. It's okay to feel rejected. And if you let it be okay, you're allowing that part of you into the house, and then it could begin to integrate and process. And then instead of being rejected, you're now there with it. So it's like, okay, in outer reality, other people could reject me, but it's okay because you're with me now. You see the difference there? That part of you that felt rejected was the one that was looking to be chosen. What does choosing the divine look like for you? For me, it means trusting the energy of my life and surrendering to that. It means surrendering to vulnerability and authenticity. It means showing up with my purpose. I'm going to Europe in like a month. What's today? A little over a month, I'm going to be going to Europe. And part of the reason is like that when I do that, the divine, God, whatever energy you want to call it, and I just show up, things happen. I'm able to sharpen that skill. I'm able to like add value, but also get in that energy. And I believe that when I show up in that way and I get into that energy, what if God is an energy? You know, we like to put, what if God is like an emotion? What if God is love? And when I'm like doing what I love, I'm in alignment with God. When I'm with people I love, I'm in alignment with God. When I'm with myself and choosing myself, I'm in alignment with God. So choosing the divine means to choose the energy of authenticity, vulnerability, choosing to trust the unknown, choosing to get into the unknown, because that's your relationship with God. What if God is literally the unknown? So that it becomes a spiritual practice then to be more present with God by stepping into the unknown. The truth is, you don't know what's going to happen. But it takes a lot of the pressure off when you realize your ego doesn't have to figure it all out. And just like we've been talking about choosing you, etc., you can let people choose you or not because it's not your job to control. That's God's. That's something greater than you. That's the divine, whatever name you want to give it, by the way. So your relationship with God is really your relationship with the unknown, your relationship with love. Your relationship with something greater than the ego's survival mode. Does that make sense? So that's the power of choosing yourself. Choosing yourself is not just about choosing yourself. Let's summarize some of this. Choosing yourself is not about just choosing, like this idea. What does it mean to choose yourself? It means choosing to be vulnerable, choosing to be authentic because it's real, not because of what it gets you. It means choosing to become aware of the patterns where you've been blocking choosing yourself, where you've been catering to other people, taking other people's energies on, being responsible for other people, like people pleasing, like fixing other people, like not setting boundaries and not speaking up. These are all mechanisms that keep you abandoning yourself. You might be afraid of looking at those patterns and establishing a new you, but realize even if there is rejection, there are some people that may only relate to you and the parts of you that abandon yourself because that reaffirms them. And if they really love you and they really have unconditional love for you, they will adapt to the new way of being. They will respect it. And you will respect you more. And you will choose you more because you're being the real you. But then we take that beyond just the ego, which is survival mechanism, just wants to survive, and we bring that into God or the divine. And remember, what that means is getting into the unknown. That means letting go of control. That means trusting love, following your passion, knowing it's not your ego that's doing it. There's an intelligence greater than you that is running aspects of your life. And if you really want to be able to choose yourself, the key is being able to choose you, let people choose you, and let them not choose you. You have to allow for both. Because if you're trying to get them to choose you, it's a form of control. It's demanding reality meet your survival mechanism that's in place so that you can feel good. It's manipulative. When you let people have the option to choose you or not, that's where there's either respect there, respect of yourself, or respect even if they don't choose you. It's like, well, at least this person was expressing the real them. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? Does this resonate? That's how you choose you. So also, if you are in LA, by the way, we have a live event here in LA, in Venice, California, Venice Beach. If you do want to come, and you want to either fly in or come, it's LA event, all one word, LAEVENT, LA event, all one word. If you comment that or DM me that, I'll send you the invite. Other than that, I want to thank you guys all for being here. Yeah, God is an energy. God is the unknown. God is love. Follow that energy. Other than that, it's been fun coming on here more often. They're all different energies. So some people are like, say something funny. What am I, a monkey? Do you guys ready for a joke? I got a joke. There are days I feel like telling a lot. There are days I just joke around nonstop. There's days I am just like, today was very focused, wasn't it? We talked in circles, but we hit choosing yourself from like multiple different angles. I like that structure. It was fun, but it wasn't, there's different modes depending on my energy. Some days I'm just joking around, I'm sarcastic. And even the days I'm very sarcastic and having fun, there are some people that are like, can you get to the point? Can you please talk in circles? So you're never going to make everybody happy, but that's okay. You just got to be authentic for you. So for me, I wish I could just like joke. There's modes where I can joke around, but today I wanted to do a focused video because a lot of people ask about choosing yourself. Like, well, how the heck do you choose yourself? What does that mean? And I wanted to like just hit it from multiple angles. Angle over here, angle over here, angle over here. And they take on a life of their own. Exactly. It's just a big improv. It's a lot of fun. The reason I love these lives is because the only thing I think of is I think of the first sentence for like how I start the live, and that's it. And then I just go into whatever we're going to talk about, and I let the unknown flow through. And that's how I enjoy it. And nowadays, when I'm like planning out video, I can't do those. Like, you know what's funny is I do these lives on Instagram. I post them on YouTube, and they do better than like a lot of the other content I do. But I think maybe it's just because it's real. I don't know. What do you guys think? I wonder why. I'm like, it's so basic. I'm just like, here's what I do. I've got this recorded right here. I've got this. I've got a little mic. It's so simple. Maybe it's because it's like I'm just sharing off the cuff. But anyways, it's like, makes it easy because, yeah, stream of consciousness. It's like whatever I want to talk about just kind of comes through. Whereas back in the day, it'd be like, this video is going to show you 3 ways to raise your vibration. Blah, 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 blah. 5 ways to raise your vibration. Number 4 is going to blow your mind. Wait for number 4 so that you get 12 minutes into the video and you have long view retention. It's like, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that. I just want to be raw and authentic because I am choosing me. And that also becomes a thing sometimes because it's like in the business and online space, it's like, what is working? What is everyone else doing? This person does it like this. This person does it like this. I'm like, how do I want to do it? I just want to do these Instagram lives where I go live, and it's kind of, some people, you know, sometimes I'm like looking at my phone, which is kind of weird. Can you imagine you get on a YouTube video and I'm like looking at my phone like this? Well, you can't see. I'd have to have like another phone. So imagine I'm looking at my phone like this. I'm like, so guys, hey, on Instagram, how are you? You know, it's a different energy, but the videos really resonate with people. Anyways, I'm just kind of babbling. I'm just kind of talking now. So thank you guys for all the questions. If you want more lives like this, maybe comment below what you want the theme to the next live event to be, this next Instagram live to be. We talked about choosing ourselves today. Put in a question, whatever one gets the most upvoted, those are the ones I'm going to do. So either go down and see what they are and then upvote the ones that you're interested in, or write down like, what are the themes? Like this one is on choosing yourself, how to choose yourself. If you want to learn how to let the divine flow through you, one of my most powerful Instagram lives was done in Costa Rica on a maloca there. It's about whether you can actually make a plant grow. That's the thought process, and the key is allowing the divine to do its job. So if you want to check it out, that's the next most powerful video to check out. Watch this and watch how it changes your internal frame of control versus surrender.